Angie Gonzalez with the New York 1 Minute. Caught in the crossfire, 3 people, including a young girl, are hit by bullets after gunshots ring out in Times Square. This happened yesterday evening, sending crowds running from the area. Police say that girl was toy shopping when this happened to her family. Police are now searching for this man, who they are calling a person of interest in the shooting. 8 people are injured after an MTA bus catches fire in the Bronx last night. It happened on Jennings Street near Southern Boulevard in Crotona Park. No word yet on how that fire started. Promising news in the race to vaccinate as more New Yorkers get their shots. The state announces its lowest COVID positivity rate since October 28th, and it is Mother's Day. But keep an eye out if you have any outdoor plans. The weather is expected to be cool with chances for rain. Highs are going to be in the low 60s. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. It is Sunday, May the 9th. We're going to have the details on those top stories in just a moment, but first, let's take a quick look at the forecast. It's time now for a look at your weather on the ones. We're going to see a dry start, but a wet finish for the 5 boroughs. Clouds are going to be around early with rain likely for the afternoon hours. Highs are going to be near 60. For tonight, the rain continues, some of which is going to be heavy and steady at times. Lows are going to drop into the low 50s. Monday is going to feature rain to start, but improving weather as the day goes on. By the afternoon, temperatures are going to reach the low to mid 60s. The rest of the week welcomes a dry and mild stretch with sunshine and highs in the 60s. Thursday is going to be our warmest day as highs approach about 70 degrees. Your next weather check comes in 10 minutes. Gunfire breaks out in Times Square, leaving 3 people injured, including a 4-year-old girl. New York 1's Alyssa Palicelli is in Times Square with the latest on the investigation. Alyssa, certainly nowhere near the amount of people that we would have seen in Times Square maybe 2 years ago, but still a scary situation.
Angie.
Alyssa, before you go, I know the NYPD is normally at Times Square. We see them every time there's a protest there. Have they stepped up their presence? There's actually a precinct in Times Square, but are they more visibly present today?
Even walking up and down 7th Avenue, walking up Broadway, there are at least 2 police officers on every block outside their vehicle. It is a nice day. We usually do see a large police presence here in Times Square, and many of the tourists we spoke with say that they're happy to see that. It makes them feel safe. But some of the vendors we spoke with said this incident still happened even despite the amount of police that are always here.
All right. Ms. Palicelli reporting for us. One person is taken to the hospital after a bus catches fire in the Bronx. Now you can see the flames in this Citizen app video. The FDNY says that they got a call just before 9 o'clock on Saturday night about the fire on Jennings Avenue near Southern Boulevard in Crotona Park. One person was taken to Jacoby Medical Center for treatment. 7 others were also hurt but refused medical attention at the scene. Sources say that police are looking into whether a 12-year-old boy in Brooklyn who died hours after complaining of head pain was being bullied. Police responded to a 911 call at the boy's home on Friday afternoon in Flatbush. Investigators say that he was conscious and had no visible signs of any trauma. The boy was taken to Kings County Hospital and was pronounced dead shortly after. His family tells the Daily News that their son was beat up by 2 boys at school earlier in the week. The city medical examiner is now investigating his exact cause of death. Sources tell us that the Department of Education is referring the case to an independent body for investigation. The DOE saying in a statement, quote, "This is a horrible tragedy and our thoughts are with the family during this incredibly difficult time. The safety of our young people is our absolute priority, and this incident will be thoroughly investigated, and we are providing support to both the family and school community." It's time now for a break, but don't go away. There's more news ahead, including another look at our weather on the Ones forecast. It's time now for your weather on the Ones. A quiet and dry start to this Mother's Day with increasing clouds throughout the day. Rain arrives during the afternoon, anytime after 2 p.m. Highs are going to reach 60 degrees across the 5 boroughs. Rain is likely for tonight, and some of it could be heavy at times. Lows are going to be in the low 50s, but it is going to feel a bit cooler with a southwest breeze between 5 to 10 miles per hour. As we start off the work week on Monday, morning rain is expected, which will give way to improving conditions for the afternoon. Clouds are going to linger for a bit, but we are going to remain dry. Highs are going to reach the low to mid 60s with winds out of the west. Looking at our 7-day forecast, we're dry right through the middle part of the week with sunny skies and highs in the 60s. Thursday is going to feature a few more clouds, but temperatures are going to be right near 70 degrees. Another round of showers looks possible for Friday as temperatures remain comfortable right through next weekend. Well, your next weather check comes in just 10 minutes. The state's 7-day average positivity rate drops to 1.45%, and that's the lowest that it's been since October 28th. There were 2,200 new cases yesterday for a positivity rate of 1.32%. Hospitalizations are down to just over 2,000 with 511 patients in the ICU. 35 New Yorkers died from the virus yesterday. In the city, the 7-day average positivity rate is down to 2.10%. There were 834 new cases Saturday and 84 new hospitalizations. Meanwhile, Governor Cuomo's office releases new data saying 60% of all New Yorkers have received at least one dose of the COVID-19 vaccine. 48.4% of New Yorkers have completed their entire vaccine series. 149,000 vaccines were administered over the past 24 hours. More than 1 million doses have been administered over the past 7 days, and more than 16 million vaccine doses have been administered across the state to date. Vaccinations are down nearly 40% across the country, this after hitting a high point in mid-April. First, we're going to take a look at where the numbers stand now. 113 million people are now fully vaccinated. That's 34% of the entire population. 46% has received at least one dose. 43% of adults are fully vaccinated. 71% of those over 65 have been vaccinated. Now, nearly all states, including New York, have seen a decline in first-time shots. Several are now declining shipments from the federal government. Some are now requesting just a fraction of the supply that's allocated to them. Now, this includes Connecticut, Illinois, and Kansas, which requested less than 9% of their dose allotment last week. Senate Majority Leader Charles Schumer is encouraging state organizations to apply for federal funds allocated for vaccine outreach and education. There are only 9 days left to apply for a share of the $250 million, which can go towards hiring community health workers, social support specialists, and others to help inform people about the vaccine, make appointments, and arrange transportation, as well as other needs. Schumer says that the pace of vaccinations is slowing, even as President Biden aims to have 70% of all Americans with at least one dose by the 4th of July.
The authorities in Washington want to dole this out very quickly. So if you apply, you should get money very, very fast, because time is of the essence here. The sooner we vaccinate people, the better. The vaccination rates were 100,000 a day in New York City in April, and now they're fallen to 40,000 some days this month. So we need an all-out effort.
Schumer says that there is no limit to how much money any one state can receive, and since New York has a large footprint, it would be a major contender. Last night's concert promoting vaccine equity around the world exceeded its goal and raised $302 million. Global Citizen announced that the money generated through the philanthropic and corporate commitments helped procure more than 26 million vaccine doses. Selena Gomez hosted the hour-long special Vax Live, a concert to reunite the world. It was filmed in California and attended by several thousand fully vaccinated fans. President Biden, Prince Harry, and wife Meghan Markle were among the big names who took part, with performances by Jennifer Lopez, J Balvin, and Foo Fighters. A Manhattan restaurant owner has found a way to keep his staff employed during the pandemic by charging an extra fee to his customers. But there's a problem. That fee violates city guidelines. New York One's Justine Ray has more details. Performances begin tomorrow on Lincoln Center's 10 new outdoor stages. It's part of their newest initiative called Restart Stages. The performance and rehearsal spaces are scattered across the campus to allow unique viewing experiences. There will be more than 150 shows slated to run through September. To see who is performing, check out restartstages.org. Well, it is Mother's Day, and that means a lot of our motherly figures in our lives are going to be receiving flowers. But in the wake of the pandemic, the flower industry actually took a big hit here in the city. Joining us now to talk about the industry is Brenda Lamanna, the owner and founder of Damselfly Florals. Thanks so much for joining us, Brenda. Tell me how the business is doing in the wake of the pandemic. How has it been getting back on your feet? I know a lot of people weren't exactly out buying a whole lot of things. A lot of people were wondering what their own economics were going to be like. So how has the business been like getting back?
It's been a challenge, but we are seeing the light at the end of the tunnel for sure. Our biggest challenges have really been just logistics, getting flowers into the country with so many, logistics of planes. Flowers travel on the belly of passenger planes. So when there's not that many flights, it definitely causes a challenge.
And Mother's Day, of course, it's a big day. I know that if I was home, which is back in Maryland, I would be buying flowers for my mother. I saw a lot of people buying flowers today for their mothers. Is this going to stimulate business for you guys today?
Very much so. It's like the jumping off point, definitely. And now that restrictions have been lifted and weddings and events are starting to be able to be scheduled again, it's just been wonderful to see, everybody's enthusiasm and just this burst of life coming back to our whole industry.
And let me ask you for some quick tips for some of those moms who are getting flowers today. Sometimes you get those little packets that come with the flowers. Do those actually do anything?
Actually, I have to tell you, if they're not used correctly, they could actually be detrimental.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, what happens is when you read the instructions, it does state that there needs to be a certain amount of water in proportion to the actual amount of crystals. A lot of people will take a very small vase, they put that whole packet in there, and what happens is the ratio of water to the plant food isn't correct, and it actually burns the flowers. So if you are going to do it and you're going to use the plant food, my recommendations is to really read the packet and make sure that it's done correctly. And most of our flowers are fresh and flown in, like a lot of people's just clean vases, a fresh clip, no leaves in the vase. That's what really helps with the longevity of a flower arrangement.
And for those pessimists, I know people say, don't buy me flowers, they just die. What are the flowers that you recommend for somebody who hasn't gone out and bought them just yet? The ones that really last?
Well, the biggest trend right now is actually dried and preserved flowers.
Oh, okay.
When you're at all of our shops, you'll see these beautiful bouquets. We actually hand dry quite a bit of our own flowers, and plants are another beautiful recommendation. Utilize them. Also, if they don't want fresh cut, you can also, just buy beautiful outdoor blooming plants. Mm-hmm. There's so much to choose from.
And Brenda, is there anything that you can do for that person that you love who has allergies? Is there anything that you can recommend for them?
Just make sure that you choose flowers that don't have exposed pollen, like lilies. There's just certain flowers, lilacs. Your spring flowers seem to be more heavy in pollen than your like roses and hydrangea and things. Those are pretty, conducive to people with allergies.
All right, Brenda Lamanna from the Damselfly Florals, the owner and founder. Brenda, thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right. All right, it's time now for us to take a look around New York. Here are some of the images of the city that you've sent us using the hashtag NY1Pic on Instagram and Twitter. Gonzalez with the New York 1 Minute. Caught in the crossfire, 3 people, including a young girl, are hit by bullets after gunshots ring out in Times Square. This happened yesterday evening, sending crowds running from the area. Police say that girl was toy shopping when this happened to her family. Police are now searching for this man, who they are calling a person of interest in the shooting. 8 people are injured after an MTA bus catches fire in the Bronx last night. It happened on Jennings Street near Southern Boulevard in Crotona Park. No word yet on how that fire started. Promising news in the race to vaccinate as more New Yorkers get their shots. The state announces its lowest COVID positivity rate since October 28th, and it is Mother's Day. But keep an eye out if you have any outdoor plans. The weather is expected to be cool with chances for rain. Highs are going to be in the low 60s. Happy Mother's Day, everyone. It is Sunday, May the 9th. We're going to have the details on those top stories in just a moment. But first, let's take a quick look at the forecast. It's time now for a look at your weather on the ones. We're going to see a dry start, but a wet finish for the 5 boroughs. Clouds are going to be around early with rain likely for the afternoon hours. Highs are going to be near 60. For tonight, the rain continues, some of which is going to be heavy and steady at times. Lows are going to drop into the low 50s. Monday is going to feature rain to start, but improving weather as the day goes on. By the afternoon, temperatures are going to reach the low to mid 60s. The rest of the week welcomes a dry and mild stretch with sunshine and highs in the 60s. Thursday is going to be our warmest day as highs approach about 70 degrees. Your next weather check comes in 10 minutes. A 4-year-old girl and 2 women are recovering in the hospital after being shot in Times Square yesterday. Now, this is what it looked like as people scrambled for safety after hearing the shots ring out. Police say that it started when a group of men got into an argument near West 44th Street and 7th Avenue just after 5 p.m. yesterday. That's when someone pulled out a gun and started firing. 3 people were hit, including that 4-year-old who was just shopping for toys with her family. This video, posted to Twitter, shows a police officer rushing the girl to an ambulance. The 2 others who were hit were from New Jersey and Rhode Island. They are all expected to survive, and police say that they were all innocent bystanders.
I think that crime is everywhere. So, I don't know if it's going to keep anybody from not coming. It could, potentially, but I think that it might, keep people away, especially with young children.
We're from around a bigger city, so it's not like we're, indifferent to everything that's going on around here. But just being able to see that there's police, every block basically makes us feel safe. Like if we had to call out for somebody.
That from tourists. We wanted to ask them whether or not the incident would impact their visiting New York in the future. This is the photo that police have released of a person of interest that they are now looking for in the case. No one has been arrested yet. The federal government is now working with a Georgia-based company that was forced to shut down one of the nation's largest pipelines after a cyber attack on Friday. Now, it is not clear yet who's behind the cyber attack or what demands they made, but experts say that the attack is unlikely to affect gasoline supply and prices unless it leads to a prolonged shutdown. The Colonial Pipeline transports more than 100 million gallons of gasoline and other fuel daily from Houston to New York Harbor on the New Jersey side. In the meantime, it is calling attention to already heightened concerns over vulnerabilities in the country's critical infrastructure. It comes after another major cyber attack in the U.S., during which alleged Russian hackers compromised 9 federal agencies. The U.S. Navy seizes an illegal shipload of weapons from a sailing ship in the North Arabian Sea. Crew members from the USS Monterey boarded the ship in international waters and found Russian-made anti-tank guided missiles and Chinese assault rifles and RPG launchers. Navy officials have not yet determined where the weapons came from and who was planning on purchasing them. Amid a string of brutal anti-Asian attacks across the city, there is also an effort to help people feel more empowered to protect themselves and their neighbors from racism and xenophobia. New York One's Lori Chung reports that it's a movement that's also trying to strengthen the bond between Black and Asian communities. 5 people are hospitalized after a shooting at a Miami area shopping mall yesterday afternoon. Local authorities say that several suspects are in custody, but they are still searching for the gunman. 3 of the victims suffered non-life-threatening injuries, while a 4th is still listed in serious condition. Employees and shoppers were let out of the mall after it was placed on lockdown. No word yet on what led up to the incident. That does it for this half hour of news, but coming up next, we're going to have all the latest on your top stories, along with another look at your weather on the One's forecast. It's all coming up after a short break. Stay with us.